righty. So welcome to the Tillett Realty Group information session. This is our weekly Thursday meeting that we have with the agents and who are also slash investors and or international sales agents. This presentation that I am doing today as part of our training is called International Investing for Beginners. And so I came up with this presentation to kind of help people with a quick way to kind of get started and keep it as simple as possible, but give enough information to where you understand the processes and what's going on when you decide that you want to purchase internationally. So a little bit about myself. My name is Latoya Tillett. I'm a radio show host under the International Wealth Builders Association on KCAAradio.com, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM. And I did find out last night that we're actually still on 102.3 FM as well. I've been an international sales agent certified since 2021, a licensed broker since 2017, national commercial real estate advisor, and certified real estate investment planning specialist since 2017. Licensed realtor since 2005, paid tax preparer since 2004. So what I do in my business is I help my clients put together diverse portfolios that include commercial, residential, and international properties while helping them maximize their tax benefits. So how to buy internationally? So the process does vary by country and or jurisdiction. So just really depending on where we are, we have to follow their rules and their processes of how it goes. So like for instance, in the Dominican Republic, they use attorneys kind of like some of the other states do here in the United States, where they're not necessarily an escrow, but they are an attorney-based closing facilitation. You can purchase using cash. Some you can purchase using financing. Payment plans, you may or may not have to have a passport. Residency is not always required. And there are property tax incentives depending on the country and or the project. Oh, sorry. All right. So what 4 things should you know or do before you start investing? Anybody want to take a guess? You can feel free to unmute yourself and let me know what you think you should be doing before you start investing. And this is not just internationally, I'm just saying investing, period.
Do homework on what you want to invest in as far as what it is, how much it is, how much you're going to need. Just get the basic parameters of the first 3 steps are, what your steps are going to be. And as far as, I don't know, if you're doing plants or something like that would be
Mhm.
different. If you're doing clothes or if you're doing stock market, you should know what you're doing before you do.
Exactly. That's a good one. But where should you start before you even get to that point?
Securing your money.
Okay. And where should you start before you get to that point?
Asking people that are in the profession that you want or that are in that line of work, asking the professionals and getting, I'm still with the first answer, but where do you get that from? You get it from people that are in the business, or you get it from articles or publications that have that information for you.
All righty. So let's go over the 4 things you should know or do before you start investing. You want to start the right way. The first thing is to get your mindset right. That's the first thing you want to do. You want to have that coming to Jesus meeting with yourself and say, hey, I need to start investing. I need to be positive about this and proactive. And, that involves doing your research and different things like that. Like you said, Sakari, that's perfect. So it's just really getting your mind ready and prepared to become an investor and to start thinking like an investor. The second thing you want to do is know your retirement number. Knowing your retirement number is key because I always was a person who said, I want to retire by the time I'm 40. I'm 41. I did not get to retire at 40 because I didn't know my retirement number, one. And two, things happen in life and things go different ways. I thought I was going to have a solid job forever, and then that didn't work out. And then I ended up going back into real estate full time. So, sometimes plans get thrown off a little bit. So now I've bumped my number up to 55. So I figure, when I turned 40 and I realized, I definitely was in no way or shape, form ready to retire. I said, I'm giving myself 15 years to do the plan and get it together. And so I had to learn my retirement number, which was part of one of our Invest to Win boot camp um, strategies that we had to do, part of our homework that we actually had to do. So you can find that.
I have a
Mhm.
question.
Yeah.
Retirement number.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, that sounds fine. But what if you're like 30 years old? Well, shit, just use me. I'm 50 and I
Mhm.
would like to purchase some property and things. I mean, these are my goals for myself.
Right.
So retirement number, are you like, okay, well, I haven't purchased that $1 million property yet for my home or whatever. What the numbers like, do you include your home mortgage, or like do you include like just the money you can just live off for the next 30 years or 20 to 30 years without, like, what, how do you base that number?
That's pretty much exactly how you base it. You can go to nerdwallet.com and you want to take into account everything that you may possibly be faced with as you're yourself aging, or if you're taking care of aging parents, any like, special needs children or children in college. You got to think about when your spouse is starting to age, all those different things you want to take into account. So at the time when I first did my retirement number, this was prior to my mother's passing, knowing that she was older and that I am not the best caretaker. I can't deal with certain things. So I knew that if she got to a point to where she needed more help than I could provide or was willing to provide, I would need to get her some type of assistance or some type of private nursing or something like that. So that was something I had to include into my retirement number, because when you have aging parents or aging loved ones that you're taking care of, some of these facilities or some of these private things that you want to do, like nursing and things, could cost anywhere from $16,000 to $25,000 a month if you don't have the right insurances that cover those type of things. So I took that into account, that I would need to have a facility or someone who could take care of my mother better than I could. And then I also took into account, I have 3 children. What if they all end up going to college? What about, if I purchase a home, that needs to be included. So, and then I also had to think about, okay, from the age of 55, let's say I retire at 55, but I live until I'm about 95. How am I going to survive for those 40 years if I'm choosing not to work or do anything? So my retirement number came up to approximately like $15 million. So it's like, wow, that sounds huge and it sounds scary. But when you think about it, it's because it's based on what I want monthly, how I want to live, and what kind of lifestyle I eventually want to have when I do retire, which would include traveling and continually investing. So, it's definitely a good thing to know, to have an idea. And then you kind of work backwards from knowing your retirement number. You work backwards to get into that plan. So then you want to have family meetings, because if you're going to be on this investment journey, everyone may or may not support you. It just really depends, but you want to get your family involved, especially if you have children, nieces and nephews, younger cousins, younger folks who may be those legacy carriers for you as you start this investment journey. You want to have those meetings so that everyone understands and knows what's going to be happening. You want them to know, you want to know what their plans are. Like, I talk to my kids all the time. What are your plans? My daughter's turning 18 in July. What are your plans when you finish high school? I'm asking my son, okay, you've decided that you want to take a leave of absence from school and you're almost practically there to complete. What's your plan from here on? What are you going to do? Um, what kind of things are these going to solve for you? And, he tells me he wants to learn how to invest in real estate. Okay. So now I can pull him into the different plans. I can even pull my daughter in with her, I know she wants to start her like beauty schooling and things like that, so she can open up her own business. My youngest son, he wants to open up his own car shop to, build and what do you call it? We make the cars, like restore cars and stuff like that. So those are things to know, because now those are dreams and things that your children now have. Well, my children, I'll speak for me, and these are things that they want to do with their lives. So we have to put together a plan in place that's going to be able to help to fund those ideas and teaching them how to do the work and how to actually manage the money, because we see it all the time with celebrities. You see a child star, they grow up, they've had millions of dollars, and then when they get a hold of that money, they don't know what to do with it. People who win the lottery, they get a big lump sum of money, they don't know what to do. So this is to prepare their minds while they're younger and get them to understand money and how money works and how to make money work for them. So then that way, when the money's there, it's not a big deal to them. Kind of growing up with my mom, with the way she raised us and how she always had money all the time. So I always was around money to where when I went to work at the bank, it didn't scare me to have a $50,000 cash drawer at 17 years old, because I'm like, I've seen this money before. Like, it's no big deal to me. Some people can't handle being around those kind of things. So it's definitely a helpful way to kind of get your family started and get them going. And so they just know and they really understand, so that they don't become, like my son wants to act and sing and stuff like that. And I don't want him to be that kid that ends up getting a huge deal and gets a bunch of money dumped in his lap and has no freaking idea what to do with it and ends up, broke and destitute in 2 years or less. So definitely it's a good idea to have family meetings to make sure everybody's on board with the journey. And then if they're not, then you know who you're going to be focusing your time with. You may have a significant other or a spouse who says, that's cool that you want to invest over there, but I want to do these type of investments here. So then that's part of the plan. Okay, this is what the part of the plan you'll run, and then this is the part that I will run, and we'll make this come together as our family unit. So after all of that, then you make your plan. So like I said, you work backwards in a number. So let's say, hey, I need $7 million to retire. Let's, do a lower number. You need 7 million to retire. Then how can I get to $7 million? What type of properties or what type of investments would I need to have to get to that number? Okay, how long is it going to take me to get to that number? You can literally become a millionaire with 1 or 2 properties if you buy something here in California. But, it's kind of hard to get in as a new investor here in California. So you may have to start purchasing outside somewhere else. So, you may need to get 5 or 6 properties in another state or in another country where it's a lower price point for you to get in to build that momentum and that volume. So really it depends. The way that you need to purchase and the way that you need to invest really depends on, one, how soon you need to hit that retirement number. And two, sorry guys, still a little sick here. So one is, how soon you need to get to that number. And two is how much will it take? So is it an apartment building that's getting you, a certain amount of rents per month? That will be enough. For some people, it's just 1 or 2 properties that gets them to where they need to be. You want to have those assets and you want to have that income. Make sure you have enough income generating. So if you want $5,000 to $10,000 a month, you need to know the types of investments you need to have. If you need to have some buy and holds with rents that are, getting you that money, you want to have enough passive income to where you're not out there scrambling or being a greeter at Walmart at 80 years old. Or actually had a woman I worked with in at another brokerage I was at before I started my own. And she literally was 80 years old and she still was selling property. I'm not saying she was doing it because she had to. I really think that she just liked doing it and it was fun for her. But you want it to be, that's the kind of life you want to have for most people, or, how we should start thinking. You want to be able to do the things you want to do, not what you have to do. When you get to a certain age and a certain point in your life, you should not be you shouldn't do things that you really don't want to do. It should be about what you want to do. And if you can make it passive and make the income come in, and you still get to do what you want to do. Like if I want to get up and I want to watch TV all day and then go have lunch with some friends, I should be able to do that. But I'm just not at that point. So now I have to get up and I have to work and I have to do certain things to make sure I can get to that type of lifestyle I want to live. So it just kind of depends. I used to always think I was the person who would never ever stop working or never want to stop working because I always work, 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 work. But now I'm getting older, I'm starting to realize that's not the best thing for my health. To just always be on the go and always be stressed out. It's not good for you. You need to learn how to take time for yourself. And, if I decide I needed a day off, would my business be able to still run? Yeah, because I have certain people I can call on to do things for me to keep things going. But before I had you guys, before I had my virtual assistant, before I hired other tax preparers, I was trying to do everything myself. I was doing all the tax returns myself. And that was stressful because I'm still having my real estate clients calling. So, I've gotten to a point where, I got so stressed out, I just didn't want to do nothing anymore. I wanted to quit everything, just throw it all away. But, going through coaching programs and talking to different people, it's like you need to relinquish some control. And that's the thing that we have about ourselves. We want to control it because we know we're going to do it right. But eventually, you got to put your trust into somebody. You got to train them a little bit. You have to let them know. You may have to keep telling them, but definitely, plan out a lifestyle that will be comfortable for you and suitable for your health so that you don't burn yourself out and cause, because stress causes cancer. Stress causes a lot of different ailments that,
I
sometimes we
know.
don't know about.
Don't I know that?
Right. See? So we have people here who are speaking from experience who have been through some of these things. Samantha herself is a cancer survivor. I have a best friend that's a cancer survivor. I have another friend that actually just had breast cancer removed from her breast. We had her breast operated on for breast cancer. So she's a survivor. So just kind of knowing these things and knowing them, I've known that they live very high stress lives. And I'm like, okay, well, I've been suffering with chronic pain and inflammation since 2015. But when I think back to that time in my life when this affliction first started, I was under heavy, heavy, heavy amounts of stress. My father had passed. I was going through a tax audit. It was just a lot of things going on. And then, I thought I maybe was just catching a cold one day and my bones were achy and they never stopped hurting since that point. So it's all about reducing the stress levels and getting to a point to where you're not jeopardizing your health, because you can't be the best you and you can't be the best you for anyone else if you don't take care of yourself. Okay, enough of that tangent. We'll move on to the next part. So these are some of our current projects. Perla Amada was one of the first projects that was actually started and developed. We have Prados de Punta Cana, which is a newer development, Secret Garden, and Wave Garden. And we have more to be announced because we have other jurisdictions as well. All these projects are located in the Dominican Republic in the Punta Cana Bavaro area. So Perla Amada is a residential community that consists of single family 2 to 3 bedroom casitas, duplexes, fourplexes, and sixplexes. And so it's about 10 to 15 minutes away from the beach. It will have community pools. And this project literally practically 90% was sold out within 60 days of it launching. So Perla Amada development team. So here in these pictures, we have the first all-woman, all-minority development team in the Dominican Republic. So we had the groundbreaking ceremony in September when we were there for Teach at the Beach. And that was just this past September. So it was really beautiful to watch, to see so many women, especially women of color, coming together to work together, toward a common goal. Because I know the system sometimes is set up against us and they don't think that us as women can work together, but we actually can sometimes. So that was Perla Amada. I didn't go into too much detail because there's really nothing else to sell left to sell there in that particular project. So here are these next few projects are some newer ones that we've been able to contract with new developers on to be able to sell and bring to people to give them more options to purchase. So this first one is called Prados de Punta Cana. As you can see the layout, there are multiple buildings and literally pools and spas in every section. So this is an all condo community. And there's nice terraces here. As you see, it's not too far from the beach. It's probably within 10 to 15 minutes, probably a little bit less, probably like 10 minutes to the beach, depending on which road you take. So these are some renderings of what the interior will look like. You have the floor plan here. So there's only 1 and 2 bedroom floor plans. So this is what they would look like. So if you have a 1 bedroom, you have that on one side. And then on the other one, oh, sorry, the picture looks like it's a little cut off. And you have a terrace on each one and everything. So these are 1 to 2 bedroom units and they start at 156,500, and that's in US
I have
dollars.
a question. They start at 156. Are the okay, because this is like a whole nother country. So
Mhm.
furniture, like when you get a new home, what do they call it? When you did the add-ons, can you add on what do you do for decoration, like furnishings?
Good question. Good question. So most of the developers, they usually have some type of a contract with either an interior designer or a furniture manufacturer, and they will sell you a furniture package. And so depending on what type of furniture package you want, they can include everything that you need in one thing. So you can get all your complete furnishings if you're going to be using the property as a short-term rental when you're not there, or if you're just using it strictly as a short-term rental. They also have packages together for that include everything you'll need to have a turnkey Airbnb or VRBO type of unit. I mean, you're talking everything from the furniture to the sheets to the dishes, rugs, just pretty much everything you would need to have it turnkey for you for your Airbnb or your short-term rental investment. And furniture packages, I've seen them.
And how much down?
For this particular one, I actually would have to ask the developer, but most of them usually are 5,000 down. I know there's some that can go as low as $2,000 for your reservation. And then it kind of would depend. This may be like a 20 to 25% total down payment. But I have a breakdown of how that will look later on in the presentation, so I can show you guys how that works.
Okay, great.
Cool. So this next one is called Secret Garden. And so this one has actually snuck up and become one of my favorites as I got to do more research on it, talk to the developer on Tuesday. He came to our Tuesday meeting for how to buy internationally. And he spoke about these projects that he's doing, which he's doing about 7 or 8 in the same area. But the 2 that we have access to sell right now are Secret Garden and Wave Garden. So this one's Secret Garden. What I like about this particular project is that it has townhomes in it. So if you look at those flat roofs with like the grass on top, those are the townhomes. And then over on the other side where the buildings are, those are actually condos. There's also a commercial amenity area in the front where you have a gym. There's going to be restaurants and different things there. So it literally would be like living at a resort or on a resort. And what they'll do is actually the developer will, you'll buy these from the developer. They will also property management. If you decide that you want to have it as a short-term rental, they will property manage that for you so they can control the pricing to make sure that you're making the most money possible for your unit. This project is actually only a 5-minute walk from the natural beach, and it's located in an area called Cap Cana. I did actually get to go to Cap Cana in February. Dree, I know when we went on the tour, we didn't go to Cap Cana when we were there in September, but I know if you go again, you're gonna love this area. It's so beautiful. And they actually have their own private beach. It's a gated community. It's about 300,000 acres or something like that, where all of these projects and things that are being built there, they all have access to that natural private beach. So there's not too many outsiders coming in unless, of course, they're guests of the owners or something like that.
Now, how far away is this property from the beach?
This is a 5-minute walk from the beach.
Oh, cool.
So you can literally walk down the street to the beach. What's also cool about this particular project that kind of piqued my interest is that each and every unit, so every townhouse, every condo comes with its own private pool included in the price. So you have community pools, but it also you have your own private pool on your terrace. So you can literally walk out of your door and get into a pool and, hang out. Now it's not like an Olympic sized pool or anything like that, but it's a decent sized pool for you to be able to, at least do a couple of laps in or something.
Is this the townhouse or the condo?
All of them, the townhouses and the condos.
Oh, beautiful.
They all have their own private pool in addition to the community pool. So this is a picture of the community pool area, what it will look like. Down at the bottom, if you see this terrace here, you see that pool that's over in the corner, kind of looks like a planter or something like that. And so you'll have like a little pool, kind of like more like an oversized jacuzzi maybe, but you know, it's still kind of cool to have your own private water when you you go.
Pool is a pool is a pool.
Yes, exactly. Right. Because how many of us really be swimming like that anyway? I always pretend to. I always tell my kids, hey, I'm gonna go jump in the pool and I'm gonna go swim. And then I'm like, I'm not putting my head under that water. But so you know, this will be just enough for me. So this project includes 1 to 2 bedroom condos starting at 152,500. This picture here at the top, this is what an actual townhome will look like. You'll have your 2 parking spaces there. And those are 2 bedrooms plus a family room. They start at 320,000 for the townhomes. And then there's penthouses. They're 1 to 2 bedrooms and they have family rooms and they start at 230,000. Now, this particular project was the first one I initially fell in love with because I just thought it was really cool. Like it looks like kind of like spaceships to me, how the design is. But this is Wave Garden, which is also located in Cap Cana, which is still part of that exclusive, luxurious area of Punta Cana. And so it's actually big enough to where they call it Cap Cana now and not Punta Cana or Bavaro, but it's still within that same area. So you're looking at like a 15-20 minute drive from the beach. I mean, not from the beach, from the airport to get to these projects. And then you see how close it is in relation to the beach. Very, very beautiful areas, you know, has a golf course, has its own golf course and everything. Cap Cana also has a golf course with about 9 of the holes. I believe it's 9 or because it's like 18 holes at a golf course, right? Or something like that. But I know most of the golf course is actually on the beachfront. And I actually was there and took some video of that back in February. And it was just the most amazing thing. I was like, you know, I'm a person, honestly, I don't like golf because it's boring. But if I could play on the beach, I might just learn, you know.
So yeah, I have a question.
Mhm.
Okay, so say you owned a townhouse in the project you just showed before.
Secret
How much,
Garden. Uh-huh.
yeah, how much would I wanted to stay there? So I call you, I want to stay there for a week. How much would you charge? And does it change the price based on seasons?
As far as Airbnb prices, they do change based on the season because they have in DR, they have their high season and their low season. So that would kind of determine, of course, what the pricing would be. I know that they don't have the solid rates right now. If we just go by today's rates, you can get anywhere from at least $200 to $300 a night for most of these units. So, and that's just in today's pricing, you know, then they have to kind of project what it'll be like, because this project actually won't be finished until around 2024, 2025. So then, you know, prices will be different then probably than they are today. They could be more, you know, just really kind of depends on the industry and, you know, what's happening. But there's so many people flocking to the Dominican Republic, especially the Punta Cana area, that you know, it's just a need for more spaces for people to go, and there's people retiring there and everything.
This is my other question. Does the
Mhm.
150, okay, so this project will not be finished until 20, not 23, but 24.
So 24, either in 24, beginning of 25.
Oh, okay, so the end of 24. Okay.
Mhm.
Whoa. Okay, so the financing, does it have to be paid off before it opens or does it transition after opening?
Well, I will get into that, but normally with the way the payment plans are set up, it would be paid off before by the time you get your keys, you'll make your last payment when you get your keys.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll show you the breakdown of how that looks and what that will how it will work with the payment plan option. Because unfortunately for these particular projects, new construction, they actually do not offer any financing in the Dominican Republic for new construction because they want you to have a deeded property. So if you buy a resale property, you can finance that. They don't usually do more than 70% on average. You got to have at least a 680 FICO score. You know, the criteria is pretty much the same as it would be to buy a house here. Only difference is that when you purchase property financed over in the Dominican Republic, it does not go on your personal credit report or anything, but they do look at your credit. Like they want you to pull your own credit here and give them a copy of it. And then if, you know, you meet their criteria and they're satisfied with your financials and everything, because they want to make sure you can afford your home in the States and buying a home there. Once you're, you know, approved and everything, you can get the financing there up to 70%. And then their interest rates are roughly between 12 to 17%.
Okay, so they're pretty high, but.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Mhm.
So you said pretty much they have to be paid off before you get the keys. You get the keys and it's paid off. Well, could you take out, if you've paid like 50% of it,
Mhm.
could you take out a loan in the Dominican to cover, like, just to pay it off and then carry on? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it depends on the project and if the bank will allow it. And it's, you know, there has been rumors that there's someone who could do a 50% loan if you get approved, but there hasn't been anyone that's been able to prove that or go through that process. Now, one of the things that I've been offering to clients is one of my lender partners does gap funding, which is unsecured lending that goes into your bank account as cash that you can use to do whatever you want to do with it. So that's an option for some people if they want to finance it that way. And then, you know, just pay
What's
their
that
loan over
percent
here.
looking like?
Huh?
What is that looking like?
It's about 11% because it's like a credit card.
Okay, that's cool. I mean,
I think I lost you, Sakari. And so here at Wave Garden, only some of the units come with a private pool on the terrace. It's mostly the penthouses that are on top. As you see, it's like the end unit that has the private pool, but there are community pools within the projects as well. I just love this picture. So this is the private golf course area. This is the front of the building here. This is one of the pool areas. Of course, this is another little pool lounge. Just like the pool swim up bar kind of thing. So there's a bar here and then there's a pool right there. There's a gym. There's also commercial amenities here as well, such as restaurants and you know, pretty much anything that you will need to live self-contained in this community. So it's literally like living on a resort. And how this one will be managed, kind of like how Secret Garden would be managed, is be managed as a condotel. So there's actually a lobby and everything that guests will go through to check in. So if you're renting out your unit, they will enter into the lobby to check into your unit. And you know, of course, it'll be fully property managed for you and marketed. And the reason why the developer said that they want to keep the property management once they sell it to you is because they want to be able to control the pricing. So they don't want it to be, you know, one owner renting for 300 a night, another one doing 150, another one doing this one. So they want to keep it streamlined so that way the investors make the most money possible. Because let's say you want to rent your unit for 250, and then you have another guy comes over here and says, I'll do mine for like 99. You know, it's just going to make an unfair advantage, and it you know, messes up the values and stuff. So they're going to keep the property management so that way they can keep the most money coming to you in your pocket if that's what you choose to do. So these are 1 to 3 bedroom condos and penthouses, and they start at $222,000. I've seen some of the properties in this actual project go up to $500,000 because of course it's a penthouse and it's all decked out and will have all these different amenities and things. So now we can talk about the creative payment plans. Like I said, it's not easy to get financing in the Dominican Republic for new construction. Of course, resale properties, you definitely can finance resale properties, and there are some available that we are also able to help you find as well. So we'll talk about some of their the creative payment plans that they have. Well, actually, it's the one favorite plan that I like, but we'll just go through this. So I took Secret Garden as the example because they have one of the lowest starting points. So this is what a payment plan would look like on a secret garden condo purchase. And this is when doing the cash option slash seller financing based on the current price of 152,500. So the benefits are you don't have a mortgage payment by the time your unit is built. You can sacrifice a little now for the long-term perks later. If you need a partner, you can definitely partner your way to success. Estimated delivery 2024, 2025. And so with that, of course, the further out that the project is going to be completed, that's the more time that you have to actually make your payments. So I did this one based on a structure of 2 years of construction time and everything. So here's what the payment plan looks like. There's a $5,000 reservation fee. So the reservation is pretty much you're giving the developer $5,000 to reserve the unit that you want while your due diligence is being performed. Depends on how fast the attorneys work. So they do your due diligence and everything. So you know how here we usually have title and, escrow. Title does their searches and does all that stuff. The attorney is the one that's going to do all the due diligence for you on that end. Instead of having, like the separate title company doing different things, they act as the title company and make sure that your investment is going to be sound and protected. So that's $5,000 during that period. Once that period is completed, then you receive your contract where you pay your remaining 25% because this down payment is 25%. You'll pay the remaining 25% when you get your contract. So that would be $33,125. So then if you choose to structure it in a way where you're paying quarterly for the next 2 years, then you break down the 55% of the payments during the construction period. So every 3 months you would pay $10,484.38. So you'll have 8 of those payments, and then you'll make your final payment of $30,500, and you get that at the time of delivery. Now, this doesn't mean that this is the only plan that they have, or this is the only way that you can pay. The developers are flexible. It's going to be what works for you. I chose to model this plan because this is one that works for a lot of people, especially when I'm talking to realtors, just because sometimes we don't always make money every month. And so it kind of works that way because, in 3 months, you could probably do a deal or two or something to get up to that payment. And so that's why I choose to show this particular scenario, but they will definitely work with you and do what's comfortable for you. There's some people who want to pay every month because they just know, that's easier for them to know that they have this obligation every month. There's people who want to pay every 2 months. You may be able to negotiate a situation where you pay every 6 months. It just really depends on the developer and what terms you can negotiate and work out with them for your payment plans. And so, for some people looking at these numbers like this, it may look impossible or it may look intimidating. For some people, it's like, hey, I got that, I can do it. And then you may have other people that say, hey, I don't know if I can do this on my own. So, maybe I should think about partnering with somebody. So you can definitely partner your way to success, which is what me and my team actually did. Actually, one of my team members is here on the call, Gianna. We actually partnered with 2 other ladies. So there's 4 of us in this investment. And this is pretty much a breakdown of what it would look like if you took that same payment plan and broke it down by 4 investors. So purchase price is 152,500. Each partner puts in, let's say everybody comes to the table because the total down payment is 25%. So that's 38,125. But if you divide that by 4, let's say everybody comes in with 95,3125 to meet that initial 25% down payment. So then that's taken care of and covered initially. Then you'll get your contract, everyone will sign. And now if you keep that same structure, those same quarterly payments, each partner would pay $2,621.10 each every quarter for 2 years. So you see how that looks so much more affordable than $10,000 paying on your own if you, just kind of partner with some like-minded individuals. Then you'll have your final payment due at delivery, the $30,500 divided by 4, that's $7,625 each. So you can have ownership, a 4-way ownership in this project. And you can do this as many times as you want or need to until you get to a point where you're comfortable to do payments or do some type of investing like this on your own. So it's definitely a good place to start, or a good way to start if you don't have a whole lot of money, or you're just scared to put that much money into it by yourself. Because there are people, just be honest with yourself. Like me, I would be like, oh my gosh, I would be scared to have that obligation when I look at my current financial state, I would be afraid to have that obligation on my own. But to have it with other people, it's like, oh, okay, cool. I can find $2,600 by the end of 3 months. That takes 1 or 2 deals or whatever to close, and I can get that done. But if I don't close anything, then that's a smaller chunk for me to be able to try to come up with. So I'm not going to the developer asking for extensions on my payments and things like that. And so, for a lot of people, starting this way is the best way to get started. You have part ownership in something. So you have 25% ownership. Each, investor will have 25% ownership. And then you can work out your own things within your group as far as, who's going to have a week. So let's just say all of us are in this investment, right? And we just decide, hey, okay, so, I want this week in July, because it's my family's birthday. It pretty much is everybody, or June, when it's everybody and my mama's birthday. Like, we could either do a week in July, or I can do a week in June. I could say, hey, ladies, I want to go for this time. Okay. And then another lady within the group can say, hey, I want to go this time. So you can choose when you guys are going to go be there. And then if we're also ISAs working with other clients, why not stay on your own property when you go out there? So all you got to pay for is your flight. Now you're not having to find hotels and different things like that. You can go stay at your own property and, meet your other clients there to help them purchase other properties as well. There's just so many different possibilities. They're just endless here. And then of course, when you're Airbnb or VRBOing or short-term renting it out, you guys will split the profits and proceeds 4 different ways. But it's still passive income coming to you that you're not having to work hard for. And you can do this and have, you have quite a few properties. You can have 5, you can have 10, you could do it, as many times as you want. Or you could say, hey, I'll do 3 partnerships. And then by then I should have enough income coming in to start doing my own, where I have my own investments that I can secure from my own family. And then these will be the properties that I have for my family, and so forth. So any questions on the payment plan before we move on to the next slide?
No.
Okay.
None here.
All righty. All right. So this picture is actually from September, when we were in the DR, from my hotel room. And it's just lovely. I just love the beach. Like, it is gorgeous. I'm like, I can't even believe my phone took such a beautiful picture. But what our celebrity investors have to say about investing internationally? So this is a clip from an interview that I did with Peter Gunz while we were in the Dominican Republic back in September. He actually came to teach at the beach, and I'll just kind of play it from here so you guys can hear.
All right, welcome back. I'm your host, Latoya Tillett on KCAA Broadcasting Radio. He has become my co-host now instead of my special guest. So please meet my co-host, my special celebrity co-host today, Peter Gunz. He's in the building. So what do you have going on? What brings you to Dominican Republic to teach at the beach?
Well, Tamika is a very good friend of mine.
Beautiful.
Yeah. But we go back as children, and it's her birthday, and I said I'd come out and do a song for her birthday. But also, she's been on my back about leaving something for these kids and investing, in, generational wealth and investing abroad. And she's been on me, and I said, okay, I'm gonna come out. We're gonna check it out. We're gonna go to some. So here I am. It's time to invest in some property, and she's right. Leave something for the kids. Also, somewhere for me to come and
Hang out when you want to hang out.
Get me some sun.
Not be cheap.
Tan my body.
It's really
All right, so that was kind of fun because I was cracking jokes about him because he's the host of Cheaters now, so he's going into his second season that he's filming. So I just thought that was funny to throw that in there. So he was telling me during the interview that they thought it would be funny for Peter Gunz to host Cheaters because his history. If you ever watched Love and Hip Hop New York or anything like that, or hear anything about and his baby mamas and the wife and
Lord have mercy. the wife that was the side chick and child,
Right.
Lord.
So he literally had a girlfriend and a wife on the side. So yeah, so they, he said the producers thought it would be funny for him to host Cheaters. So that's how he ended up becoming a host of Cheaters. He has that new show that's on BT now. That's about after happily ever after or something like that. So where he's actually supposedly they're helping each other find mates. Like he's helping Tara and Amina find somebody else, and they're supposed to be helping him find somebody else. It's really, really weird. I haven't watched it yet. I'm gonna check it out though, because I told him I would. So I'm definitely gonna check it out when I get a chance. But it was like, it's just strange.
Yeah.
So
I can't.
yeah. So that was Peter. We also had the world famous DJ Booth there, who is Nicki Minaj's DJ. He DJ'd the birthday party and he was there as well. To look at some investment properties. I know Tamika recently met with Mano. He's another rapper out of New York that is purchasing some properties in some of the jurisdictions that she has as well. And so so it's pretty cool because even as celebrities, that money ends sometimes too. I mean, how many hit songs did Peter really have? He had one, right? So, he's been using different TV shows and different things to kind of sustain his income and everything. But like he said, Tamika's been on him, you got to leave something for your kids. Yeah, you're this public figure, you're this celebrity, you're known around the world or whatever, or wherever you're known at. But then you still need to leave something for your kids. You still need to build some type of legacy. And as you see, there's a lot of celebrities that we're hearing that are now jumping into real estate and even jumping into real estate investing themselves. I know Shaq's doing a development. I know T.I. and Tiny are doing a development in Atlanta somewhere. I think it's affordable housing. And you got different people now getting into real estate. I mean, some of them have been in real estate and we just didn't hear about it. But because now with the way social media is and everything that's in the news and TMZ in the shade room, we're finding about what different celebrities are doing, and we're always getting to know like what's going on in their lives. All right, so now be the first to know our international sales agents are global. You can get certified today. We're in the US. You see the US flag there because we do still do projects here in the United States when they become available. We're in the Dominican Republic, definitely have active projects going there. We're actually in Puerto Rico. Half of our group just came back from Puerto Rico over this past weekend. They went out there for pre-development to check out some different sites and look and see what's available. There's a lot of fix and flip opportunities in Puerto Rico. I did ask about if any of these certain houses that they saw that were boarded up and needed fixing, if they were maybe homes that were hit through the hurricane, and they actually weren't. They weren't damaged in the hurricane or anything like that. That particular area of San Juan, Puerto Rico really didn't get hit as hard by the hurricane as some of the other areas of the island. And so definitely, there's Puerto Rico there. And we're also going to have our Teach at the Beach conference next year in September in Puerto Rico. So this past year we did the Dominican Republic. In the years prior, when I first started attending the conferences, they were in Panama City Beach, Florida. And so, as we move into new jurisdictions, there's new opportunities and new places for us to actually have the conference and, new opportunities for you to get tax write-offs and have a little fun at the same time.
So Puerto Rico is technically the United States, right?
Yeah, so you won't need a passport to travel there.
And then what is this flag in the bottom right-hand corner?
So we have Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, we have Ghana, and we have Guyana, and now we have the Bahamas.
Oh.
So this is exciting. I believe the Bahamas tour, the pre-development tour is going to be maybe around March for the Bahamas. I know they're working some dates and details out for that. Guyana, they just struck oil really big there. So a lot of the big corporations like Exxon and Mobil and all the big gas companies, they're going there and they're actually starting to build communities for their executives to rent. They're going to rent them to their executives. Like literally there's a community of homes, beautiful, huge 2-story homes that Tamika was able to see and share with us that are $100,000. Mortgage is $700, but they're renting them to the executives for $2,500 a month. So think about your ROI if you can get a couple of those. Not bad, right? So those are the jurisdictions we're in. So if you want to be the first to know, you could become an ISA or a referral partner. So this is from an event that actually happened earlier this month. It was called the Beyond Borders ISA Tour. This was an in-person tour that went over what's necessary and needed to become an international sales agent. And so, we have these events live. This was actually the last one for this year. So the other info sessions that are available will be every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you're on East Coast, of course, it's 8. And then if you're Central Time, it's 7 p.m. And so you can join those info sessions. They're all virtual via Zoom. And so anyone that's interested, I definitely would love to get you the links to those so you can attend if you want to find out more about how to become an international sales agent. Or if there's a live event in your area, maybe starting next year, those will be updated on the website. So what are the attractions for becoming international sales agent? So like I said, you can attend a live event or an info session. You could buy the self-study course, which is $199. The price will go up in January. So if it's something you're thinking that you want to do, you might want to try to get it done before January. You could be ready to sell international properties in an hour. And there's also sometimes special incentives for ISAs that may be available for certain projects. Like I know, for instance, there was a project where there was pretty much $35,000 off the prices for you being an ISA for purchasing that day or purchasing while on the tour. There are tours pretty much every month to the Dominican Republic right now. There's going to be a tour to Ghana actually in December. So the Dominican Republic will not be a tour next month, but they are going to Ghana for the development tour there. And that's, I believe, December 25th through January 3rd. And starting back up in January, they're going to be going to the Dominican Republic. I know there's a Bahamas trip for ISAs only in February. And then they're going to try and do some more pre-development work in the Bahamas, maybe around March. I know they're trying to get to Guyana and start having tours going to Guyana. So what that means for you is if you become an ISA and you decide you want to focus on a particular jurisdiction, you may be able to be that person to lead up those tours if that's something you want to move into. And that's that's a different realm and everything. And that'll be something that'll be worked out. Like if you were to get hired on as like a tour leader or something like that, that'll be a separate conversation to have. But it's just a thought, if it's something that you really want to dive into and get into, because we do need more people to help keep up with the demand in all these different countries. We can't have one person being in all these places at one time. So definitely in need for more international sales agents and more people who are ready to step up and say, hey, I'm gonna go hit the tours up over here, or I will take care of this. What I also forgot to mention, I got to update my slides. There is no license required to become an international sales agent with our particular certification program. This program has actually gotten approved for continuing education credits in the state of Georgia. So I'm actually going to see who I can work with here in California to get continuing education credits to teach this course here in California as well. But yeah, there's no license requirement. So if you're not a realtor, never been a realtor, you can actually become an international sales agent, and you will have first dibs on all the projects and everything that we're approved and authorized to sell. And you'll be the first to know about these projects and get them out to the masses. If being an ISA is not for you, you just really don't want to do all that, you could definitely join my referral network, or join my network as a referral partner and get 15% of the net commission from doing so. So those are just a couple of ways to kind of add some other pillars of income to your business that you currently have, or side business, or whatever it is that you want to do. Also, another thing that I'd like to mention is that the projects Wave Garden and Secret Garden that we spoke about earlier, that developer actually will allow you to sell your properties prior to completing construction. So what does that mean for you? If you're someone who's interested in flipping or wholesaling or something like that, you can literally reserve a property with $5,000. You can find another person to be the buyer, take, maybe add 25, 30% or whatever you want onto your price if they're willing to pay it, and sell that unit before it's even built. So there are some people using that strategy to build up capital, enough capital to be able to do projects here in the States. So that's another opportunity that's available. So that's a really good one, because I know that's one of the strategies that Tamika actually taught us to do, is to be able to flip new construction. So that's definitely another interesting perk with this particular developer, because there are a lot of developers that will not allow you to sell or trade your property prior to you having it paid off. Another thing with the properties in the Dominican Republic, well, with these particular projects, is the owner actually applied for a law that's called Confonsur. Now, Confonsur is a law in the Dominican Republic that states that there are no property taxes and no transfer taxes for 15 years. So you can literally own a beautiful property in a DR and not pay not a lick of property taxes or transfer taxes when you sell it for 15 years. And that's a property tax abatement. Their regular property taxes, there are no property taxes for any properties valued under $147,000 US. I believe they've actually moved it up to like around 160, but I haven't gotten confirmation on that just yet. So I'll go with the number that was previously told to me by the attorney. So $147,000, anything valued under that, you do not pay any property taxes on in the Dominican Republic regardless. So if you buy a resale property for $125,000, you have no property taxes on that property as long as it's assessed under $147,000 every year with the tax assessors there in the country. If it is assessed over $147,000, you only pay 1% of the difference. So whatever the difference is between the 147 and what your property assessed value is, you pay 1% of that. So you literally can still own a $200,000 or $250,000 property for just a couple of $100 in property taxes every year. All right. So what are your next steps to success? If you're ready to go and you're like, hey, I want a property now, you're going to go ahead and complete a reservation form that I will get to you. We'll select your condo or your villa in the project that you want. If you need some help putting together a partnership, you can schedule a one-on-one and we can help you out with partnership schedule structuring. You'll receive your contract. So you'll sign your contract and pay the rest of your down payment. If you only did, the reservation fee up front, or if you did the partnership, then you wouldn't have anything else to pay at that time. You can start building equity and generational wealth almost immediately, because these projects go up pretty much every few months as they're building and as they're selling. They usually go up on their prices about 5%. So like you can get in now and probably by February, you'll have 5% equity in the project. And just think about by the time the project is completely built at the end of the 2-year period, you're going to have a substantial ROI and equity already built up in the project. It's just like if you buy new construction here, you buy one of the first phases, then by the time they finish all their phases, you've got all this equity in your property. So you could register for the Beyond Borders tour to learn how to become an ISA, or actually attend an info session, because we don't have any more tours going on this year. If you'd like to host a tour, you definitely could submit that through the website as well. And I can get you that information if that's something you're interested in. You can get certified. So after taking the International Sales Agent Certification course, you can get certified and start selling the same day. You'll get your certificate. I'm not going to say that you get it that quickly, because it is taking a little bit of time, because we had to actually our ISA director actually had to step down due to some family reasons. So it's taken a little bit of time to kind of transition over to the interim ISA. And so getting the information, it may take a little bit longer now. You might not get it exactly the same day, but you still will be able to get access to the private Facebook group. And you can always ask me about any projects that we have to sell. So, if you take your test, you get certified, you pass, you just let me know, and then I can connect you with the box links that we have for any projects that we have going on right now. So that way you're not waiting if you know people who are ready to dive in and get going right now. All right, so I'd like to thank you for your time. Again, my name is Latoya Tillett. I am the broker owner of Tillett Realty Group. You have my contact number there, my email. You can check out my YouTube channel to see some videos that I've posted and that I've done. You can also check out the International Wealth Builders Association YouTube channel and search my name, Latoya Tillett, to see any of my past interviews from my radio shows. And you can also check out my website at www.tillettrealtygroup.com. I do need to update some information, so I will have to manually update it with the new projects that we have. So that may take a little bit of time, but you can always reach out to me for more information. All righty, so I am going to stop the recording.